third part of Palworld. We're putting a let's play of Palworld because Nintendo is stupid part 3. You know, the reason why I say Nintendo is stupid, like every other person who supported Nintendo. Hold on. Oh boy. Alright. As I was about to say. Please don't have that one. Okay. As I was about to say. Like, are you serious? Ah, that was funny, wasn't it? Nothing like a good sneeze to clean your sinuses. Uh-oh. I'm sorry if I'm sneezing in the mic. It's the sneeze, it just happens. Oh boy. You know, seasonal weather. Oh no. I hope everybody enjoys this stream and when it uploads too. I'm just gonna let you guys know that people like me who are, oh my god, okay, just letting you guys, I'm letting you guys know I'm not fake sneezing. Oh my god. So, unlike everybody else who doesn't get the picture, and for people like me who understand that what Nintendo is doing is wrong against Palworld, because they have been lying to a lot of their player base with the lawsuit going on against Palworld. And they are lying to the court, saying, oh, we own the rights to all these mechanics, we own the rights to the Pokemon. Unlike everybody else, like me, who understands, except for the people who don't understand, and this is why I titled this stream like this, because it's to piss off toxic Pokemon players who are against Palworld, who prefer Pokemon, and mislead other viewers. And, you know, as much as I want to continue supporting Nintendo, it's just the things they are doing is out of hand. So I just decided to keep putting as my player name, Nintendo is stupid, and then here as my world name, Palworld's better than Pokemon. I'll explain a little bit of the reasons more why I put it that, because I'm gonna let you guys know straight up, like every other person, I have played Nintendo systems like everybody else since I was a young kid, you know? As we're kids, we're born with a childhood phase, right? Pokemon used to be a game that I looked up to, that I enjoyed. But like, the things Nintendo alongside Pokemon stuff, what they're doing is unforgivable. And yeah, this is a let's play by the way, but I'm also because I was a huge Nintendo supporter since my parents got me into. And you want to know how I got into Nintendo, huh, guys? You guys are curious, I'm pretty sure. Well, when I was young, my niece used to play Pokemon, and so I was like, what is that game? And she told me it's based off of the cartoon anime that you usually watch. And I was like, wait a minute, you mean that cartoon? Because, you know, back then, Pokemon it wasn't fully recognized as an anime, but it was an anime. So I used to start playing Pokemon Yellow. And there were things at first that I did not know how to do. But my niece got me into the whole shebang. Pokemon Yellow, I got into that because of her. Because, you know, I saw it, it looked interesting, and, you know, it got my attention. So, what happened was, I got it. And, you guys know I don't care about what you tell talking around with that. Because I'm just trying to and express. So, whoa. Yeah, those guys are the new boss fight. So, when I saw what was going on after I got the Switch, after I started playing Palworld, and after I learned that Hockeyfair, who created Palworld, was a small indie developer. I mean, at first I had my self-awareness going like, uh-oh, is this gonna be like another Legends Arceus? I was like, and I had people in my streams back then tell me, oh, it's way better than Pokemon. I'm like, oh, I don't know, do I want to try it? And I was like, I was still thinking at that time whether it would be a good game or not. So instead of judging it before I play it, I waited until after I tried the game. And suddenly I started streaming this game a few times. Have I ever finished it? No. Do I want to? Yes. And, you know, when I started playing this game for the first time, it was so much fun, so much better than Pokemon could ever be. And now Nintendo is chickening out, and when you check their chickening out, you search up on the internet, if they're chickening out, they say, nah, Nintendo's not chickening out, they're not that. They are full time. They do not know how to deal with this landscape and so they decide to take advantage of a small indie developer who's trying to make a game and take inspiration from Pokemon. And I know a lot of people are mad, probably because I ain't streaming any Nintendo games. See, I'll stream a Nintendo game depending on the game and depending on the developer and publisher. So I would rather make Let's Plays of either Xenoblade Chronicles or a Dragon Ball game instead of like Pokemon. Any other game made by a different developer, I will sue. Other than that, I will not support any other game if it's made by Nintendo themselves. So, and the reasons why is because they're abusing the lawsuit, and a lot of their community who still support them are telling them to continue that lawsuit, which is a bad idea. Like, they've already lost a bit of their customers, okay? A lot of their customers who supported them bought the Nintendo Switch. Not the Switch 2, because people saw what they were doing. And like me, I saw what they were doing. So I saw to myself, I listened to my mind and my gut, okay? And the things that I respect. I respect game developers if they respect their player base, such as all of us. Now, but when a certain group of player base that are still supporting that community to tell everybody else that they are ripping off of Pokemon, and that's what crosses the line. Compared to Capcom, Japan, former game designer who is retired, by the way, compared to him, I think the opposite of what he thinks. I think what Nintendo is doing is outrageous. And that's coming from someone like me who purchased every Nintendo system. After I played the PlayStation 2, I had the Nintendo 64, and then I also had Game Boy Advance. I even started off with Game Boy Color, of course, because that was the true game I started off with. Oh, that looks like a sign. But it's too bad. I have to make me look it up. And so, when a lot of people, and like myself, saw what Nintendo was doing, and they're doing it as a competition thing, they're afraid that they're gonna lose, okay? So instead of just letting Palworld be, because they knew Palworld is a threat to them. Pokemon knows that Palworld is a threat to them. And because of that, they'll do anything in their power to get rid of the franchise from here, from this world, from every platform, even in their own turf, Japan. But even I know that courts and judges are not stupid. And Pocket Pair, they know what Nintendo is trying to do. They know that Nintendo is just trying to delay time and, distract them, all it is a distraction. And so, when you have a big developer bullying a small developer, okay, that is where you cross the line, alright? That is where the developer and the company itself crosses the line. And I say Nintendo has crossed that line to take away the creativity of not only small game developers, but for people who wants to support, you know, be there for popularity. And I've been saying this all my life so far. I've been rejecting Palworld as the new game out. Because in fact, it did satisfy as an early access. I was like, ooh, okay. I might as well give this game a chance. And like, man, this game changed my whole perspective from a Pokemon-inspired game. And people called it Pokemon Regalia because, you know, that's what it basically is, but in its own way. It's something different. A lot of the pals do take some inspiration from Pokemon. Like this guy, he takes similar art style from Dragon Ball. And, you know, it's kind of like a Pokemon series, but you know, and I like that. I'm okay with that. And so when I started playing this game, I was like, wow, okay, I was wrong about this game because I had a viewer that told me, oh, Palworld is so much more. And at first I was like, and then I tried it. And I started playing this game from time to time. And I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. And so other people who are in the Pokemon community who are against this game that I'm playing, Palworld, instead of trying to tell people, oh wow, this is better. No, they don't say that because they never even play the game. And Capcom Japan's former game designer who retired, he never played the game, and yet he's talking saying, oh, what the developers of Pocket Pair is doing is they're crossing the line. How? Can you prove how they're crossing the line? By just taking inspiration? Because look at this, this is completely different than Pokemon, if you think about it. Because you can harm actual research. This was something that was only written on Palworld. And so, because the resources they got is completely different from Pokemon entirely. And yet they're trying to put a lawsuit on a lot of these people. Why? Because they know that this game is going to whack them out of the competition. So they're competing against Palworld. And Pocket Pair at first, they didn't want competition. And they still didn't want competition. But Pokemon is forcing Pocket Pair with Palworld to show Pokemon Company alongside Nintendo that they mean they're no joke, okay? Pocket Pair is dedicated. Pokemon, they say they're dedicated, but the problem is every bit of content, and I understand they need to make some sort of money, right? But like, putting a lawsuit against a small game developer who is now becoming bigger than them, and that's why they're scared. And so when I make this stream and when I'm making this as a Let's Play, I'm always gonna title it Let's Play Palworld because Nintendo is stupid. So I do that to show people that are still supporting Nintendo, saying that Nintendo owns the rights to the mechanics. I do this to show them I'm not afraid of people who are misinformating, misleading people who decide to go and put toxicity towards this for no reason. See, the reason why Pokemon Company is losing alongside Nintendo, because Pokemon was the ones who originally started the lawsuit, but then got Nintendo involved. So you think to yourself, why did Pokemon Company decide to just give up and put Nintendo involved in this lawsuit? They were just afraid. They know they were going to lose a lot of money, and so they just decided to let Nintendo deal with it. So before, when Pokemon was the one dealing with the lawsuit, they were actually feeling the pressure. And then they got Nintendo into that pressure. Okay? Nintendo Japan is suffering, even though they don't want to admit it. And so when you try to search stuff like this on the internet, it's not worth it because, you know, Nintendo has a lot of information that they are hiding. So if you search if Nintendo Japan is losing resources, that information is hidden. They don't want to tell you that. And yeah, I never found it. But I know something's wrong. Something's up. And so when I think about it, I think, oh crap, Nintendo is losing resources. They have to be. There's no way that they are not losing resources from this lawsuit. And there's no way that this lawsuit is not killing them. Oh, is that me? Oh, this ain't new. But I'm gonna catch it anyway. Critical capture, baby. And I love this game, guys. I love this game so much. No matter how many times people would tell other people in the community for Palworld, trying to put toxicity, I don't care. I'm not giving up on supporting this game. They can try to screw the satisfaction up for me. For like, oh. Ow! I killed myself! So yeah. That happened. Oh, look at that reptile behind me. So, I think this game is one of the best games compared to Pokemon. And I'm just gonna let you guys know right now, I will never play Pokemon ever again. I haven't even been playing Pokemon since the lawsuit started happening. When I saw the lawsuit happening, I was like, oh crap. So now Nintendo is trying to abuse the lawsuit and take advantage of a small indie game developer who does not want to start a drama against them. Instead, Nintendo wants to start drama against them because they are scared. They are just plain out scared. And when you check in the internet browser, search up if they're scared because they know they're going to lose, they'll say, no, they're not afraid because they're gonna lose. In fact, it's the opposite. No, they are terrified. And because I know they're terrified, because any developer, if I was a game developer, and I put charges against a small game developer, if I was a big one, and somehow I put a lawsuit against a small developer, you think you wouldn't be feeling the pressure if you were a big game developer? And then some people would say, it don't matter, I'll still win. They have their toughness, their recklessness, and that is why Nintendo is going to lose the lawsuit against Pocket because they are getting reckless. And if a game developer company, a franchise that also works on hardware, shall I say, of course, I would be terrified knowing that the lawsuit I put will turn back on me. And that is what's happening with Nintendo. The lawsuit that Nintendo was doing and is still doing with Palworld and Pocket Care, they are terrified. And the reason why? We already know why. Because of the player base, the community, the people that used to support them. They aren't too happy because they're bullying a smaller game company studio developer. And it's an indie developer nonetheless. So, I think people who support Palworld has every right to fight for Palworld and Pocket Care's behalf. And so we have until next year because that lawsuit will be in effect. But there are a lot of content creators who are like, you know what? There is already another type of program service where it's called Stop Killing Games, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. This is real good. Because if you have a service to stop killing games, a community that is all about stop killing games, I think that's pretty cool. Some people on the Nintendo side who only support Nintendo may not be happy, but like, I'm happy. And so, if other people are happy that support this game still continuously, even now, if they're happy, hell, I'm happy too. Like, all of this is to respect each other. Even if you're game developers and you own a gaming business to develop games, I think that gaming developers and gaming franchise companies who work on hardware, who brings those other games to their platform, such as Sony. That's why I love Sony so much. I used to hate Xbox because of their greediness towards certain games, and also because of console wars. So when they decided to declare console wars on Sony, you know Sony won't go down. They'll just accept the challenge because Sony knows they have the upper hand, okay? But see, I used to play on Xbox as my first online system, where I used to have an Ethernet cable connected and I have the Xbox One, but I only got that system because I wanted to play Fantasy Star Online 2 and New Genesis. But as soon as I heard that it was coming to PlayStation 4, I was like, okay, now I don't have to be on Xbox. Now I can be on the platform that I am so used to, you know. See, I was used to PlayStation since day one, and Nintendo as well. I was used to Nintendo since day two. So, I used to support both platforms because back then, Nintendo didn't try to do anything stupid. I was like, you know what? Pokemon, okay. The art style, okay. But I didn't know where that some of that art style from the Kanto region took inspiration from. So at first I was like, oh, Palworld's the ripoff, right? But then I'm like, wait a minute. I looked all this shit up, and like Nintendo, when they made Pokemon, they took inspiration from culture stuff like Hawaii, Japan, China. Think about it, Kanto. That is around China. There is an area that is known as Kanto. And it's, you know, it has a meaning for a Chinese town that has a similar name. I was like, what the heck? And they're saying they own the rights to everything that they actually took inspiration from. See, when you take inspiration from something like culture, you don't own that culture. Nintendo, you don't own shit of that culture. You own the made-up version of that culture. And that made-up version of that culture, like Sun and Moon, is Hawaii. Okay? The anime, when you made the characters, when they say a certain word like Alola, because it was based off of Alolan region, it was like Hawaii. So instead of trying to say Aloha, you decided to put the character line as Alola. Why? You know, if you put the actual Hawaiian word, Aloha, you know how bad you would have been killed as a service, as a business in Japan? Of course, Hawaii would have, you know, the people of Hawaii would have been like, oh my God, they're putting our word in that anime. And then they're making it look like they own the rights to that word. We created that word. That's what they would say. You know, that's what Hawaiian people would say, is that they own the right to their own culture. It's kind of like a politics thing with Trump saying, they're immigrants and people from Hawaii are also considered immigrants, and black Americans should know their place. Shut up! Nintendo, you're trying to make it look like you're Trump. You're trying to make it look like you're Trump. Like you're a stupid president. What you're doing is no different than our politician, President Trump. And guess what? Trump is gonna try to go for a third term. And the thing is, if he goes and becomes president a third time, which he won't, I guarantee you he will not. And I guarantee you Nintendo will not win the lawsuit against Pocket because what they're doing is no different from what's happening political wise, okay? Through Trump. The CEO of Nintendo Japan at this future, at this year and age, what gives them the right to say that they own a lot of their art style? Think about it. The environment from the Sun and Moon series that took inspiration from Hawaii. And the environment took inspiration from Hawaii. And the big kahuna, the guy who is supposed to be the last challenger, the last gym challenger, okay? The last gym leader is a guy who looks exactly like a Hawaiian, who is a leader of Hawaii, of course. I don't know what they call a Hawaiian leader, but like I think Hawaii should be pissed off at Nintendo. And the reason for that is because, you know, Nintendo is trying to say, oh, we own all this art style. Oh, we own all the Pokemon art style. Dude, your Pokemon in Sun and Moon take inspiration from everything sea creatures from Hawaii. And so now you decide to say, oh, we own the art style for those ones. Dude, Nintendo, you are so stupid. And yeah. You know, I've been having the urge to get back into Monster Hunter Stories 2. And I was like, ooh, I really want to get back into this game. Why? Because, yeah, the guy who used to be the former game designer for Capcom Japan, which, man, am I glad he was retired. And I didn't notice. But this is good, because if he's out of the picture, he's actually making his own, the people he worked for, he's making them look like morons, like he's betraying them, he's backstabbing the own company's backs, behind their backs. So like, and man, am I glad he's retired, man. You know why he's retired? There's only one reason, folks. Because he was doing something, and he's an old freaking man who don't know shit. See, there are a lot of old, mature people who understand stuff because either they worked in lawsuits and patents, even young adults now becoming lawyers and trying to learn how lawsuits work. Like, I don't know if you knew this, and people who supported this guy may be pissed off if I say this, but I think Ted Cruz is a load of shit, using religious in the wrong way as an example for politics, okay? He is straight up dumbass. And I know there's probably people saying, but he's religious. You are against religious. No! You know there are Christians that understand there's only one God. And Ted Cruz, as a religious, as a Christian person, because I know there's a bad history with Christians and with Catholics, okay? We both had our demons, okay? But right now, it's not just Ted Cruz that is revealing those demons and putting them into politics. It is also J.D. Vance, who will take orders from Trump. And so I looked up a little thing where if the vice president follows orders from his actual leader, you know, the president himself, and the president is doing criminal action, that means that the vice president is most likely in those criminal actions because he is listening to the guy who is in charge. And so, you know, I don't have nothing against Trump. I just think he's a joke, you know. Like, yeah, it pisses me off when I see how many people he is stealing money from. Even his own supporters, he is stealing money from. Like, some of these people later down the line, if Trump is president a third time, people who have money, okay? They don't have to have health care or nothing. They have no health care. They just have a bank and money in it. Trump will do something to steal that money. And why do I say that? Because I've seen a lot of things that he has done. And yeah, I may not be experienced in math. I may not be experienced in spelling. But at least I'm experienced with knowing when something's right or something's wrong. Alongside Nintendo, example, the CEO of Nintendo Japan. Because I mentioned Trump and political issues. But if you think about it, gaming is into that political issue. Because anything that is part of some type of thing like a business is in the politician category. Why do I say that? Because now a lot of Republicans who own businesses, they are not too pleased. And they are not too pleased because the tariffs. I've learned a lot of things about them tariffs. And there were things at first I did not know. Okay? I looked up shit on the internet to learn more. Tariffs is a key role for the market. Depending on what kind of tariff you set up. Because the business, the whole world, the United Nations had tariffs, but those tariffs that originally existed were basically something that is risky, okay? Unless you can make an agreement with those tariffs. So a lot of these presidents who existed now, and you know, the leaders who existed before Biden, the guy who existed before Biden, Obama, man, he was the coolest president, and my dad knew him, okay? He had an invitation card. He became part of the government, part of the, you know, Obama's helper. And so, but my dad, he doesn't get out very much. He can't go all the way over there. He can't afford to travel that far every day. But like, he has a service that he does, and that is called the Lions Club. They do a lot of things to not just help people who need food, but they fundraise, they do charities, and I'm like, I'm proud to be a son of a father who taught me so much about politicians and how people can abuse politics and push out issues. I feel like that's a blessing. If other people think otherwise and say they don't agree, hey, you don't have to agree with me. I never asked you to agree with politics. All I ask is to get along with politics. Like, no toxicity, please. It's dumb. And then you're blaming people because they're of different race, of different color, and make them look like they're perfect. Well, if you're gonna say that, you're gonna get your ass killed by a person who is of that race and nationality. Because think about it, if that one nationality made fun and, you know, talk shit about your nationality, okay, wouldn't you be pretty pissed, right? If someone say that you're a black immigrant and not a black American, which a lot of people here that exist in the state are considered black Americans, okay? Like, people who are from either Jamaican man, you know, those people, they become American here because of the contract and treaties that we made to form a relationship with all these different countries. And so Trump is abusing the amendments that say he cannot run a third time. Because as long as I learned this from a friend too. If there's a world war, he will definitely be forced to pass Trump. And in a way, he would be forced to just accept everything. He would be forced to agree with the countries that we have a relationship with. And if he doesn't, then we're all screwed, right? And the type of guy he is, knowing the type of person he is, because I see a lot of things that he does, he would not agree. It would be New York as a whole divided with us. So every state and country would be on their own. Are you satisfied with that? Are any people that deal with politics, are they alright with that? Are you guys alright with Trump doing the whole country and the whole United Nations as a whole? And you may think, well, you're wrong, but because he's been leading. If he's been leading, how come the things you're not paying attention to because you only watch one story? So like, you watch one story and you only believe that story. So now you're screwed because you only believe that one story. And you don't try to pay attention to others. There are some information in each source of news and information in politics there are some information in each news service where you can find out different information through different things. And then you say, oh, that's a lie, I don't trust that source. Why? Have you ever gotten the chance to read it? Have you ever read MSNBC and Fox News and everything all together to understand what Trump is trying to do to the whole nation? And then you have gaming communities, which we already know a lot of the gaming communities because businesses are involved with political issues. A business is a political thing. But some game companies are doing the same thing this president we have is doing. Okay? Which is not cool. It's not cool at all. And I feel like Nintendo has actually crossed that line. Not pocket pair. Oh, look at this. A facility for storing a large number of cyber powers. Any guild member can deposit or withdraw. Alright. Oh yeah. This is a ring we need to get unlocked. Because, this will make it easier to like lucky him. So I get that. See, I mean, a lot of things Trump say when he says he wants to make America great again, he means the opposite. He means I want to make America wealthy again. I mean, if you've seen it, he has been saying it a bunch of times on every news source, including Fox News. But Fox News, because they know another news service, another news reporting business, is looking up the things they are saying. Fox News tries to make MSNBC look like their enemy, public enemy number one. And so, let's just say MSNBC is not public enemy number one. They are basically one of the most trustworthy news reporting channels, stations. And there are others that may have some different opinions, but at least they still agree with other news reporting studios. You know what, guys? I'm gonna stream some Monster Hunter 2, and I'll be right back. So first we'll exit here, and I'll see you in the next stream in a little while. I might actually stream some more Wizard 101 because, oh my god, that game is fun. And I'm waiting for other gacha games to come out because I actually support a lot of these gacha franchises. But when it becomes like certain franchises that are usually too pay to win at the end, and they say that they make promises like, we're gonna be free to play friendly, we're gonna keep our word. Later down the road, they're forced to make pay to win. But oh yeah, very soon I'll be streaming Tower Fantasy because they are kind of removing somewhat of the gacha system, which is nice, okay? It's nice. And, you know, because depending on what and how the game functions. So yeah, guys, I'll see you soon. I'll probably watch some anime before I start streaming again. I'm watching anime based off of the isekai genre. And this anime is a really nice anime. I wish a lot of these non-anime supporters who are just saying they don't want to watch anime because it's indecent, watch anime. Try it out. Because you may say you never tried it out. You may say you already tried it out. But even I know a lot of people have not bothered to check out anime culture. It is really, really cool. And if you try to check out anime culture, you'll be thinking the same thing. But, alright guys.